NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. In today's episode, we're going to break down my Week 5 picks with scores, guys. Week 4 was another successful week. We bounced back. We went 11-4-1 because the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys tied somehow. But man, we're doing really good with our picks, guys. We're 46-17-1 for the entire NFL season. Two of my losses this week were games that I flipped midweek. I flipped from Philadelphia to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay lost, and I flipped from the Chiefs to the Ravens, and they lost as well. I should have stuck with my guns, and we would have an even better record going into Week 5. But guys, we're going to crush it again in Week 5. The buys start this week. Just an FYI, guys. Let's get into the video. All right, all my NFL fans, do me a huge solid. Hit that like button. Hit the hype button on your phone. And if you want more NFL content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Check out your screen real quick, guys. Wow, we crushed our bets on Monday Night Football, guys. We only lost one bet, and we cashed. We absolutely dominated. So if you're interested in sports betting and you want to get all my members only updates, check out that join button to become a member of the J All Day community. You get to help support the channel, and then you get all my bets every single Friday, only $4.99 a month. And we already made your money back if you were a member just on Monday Night Football, guys. We just cashed. It was a great week for our bets. Even though the Chargers destroyed some of our parlays this past weekend, man, we almost crushed a $10 bet into $3.20 if the Chargers would have won, but it is what it is, guys. Now, on to these Week 5 picks with scores. All right, all my NFL fans, Week 5 scores. Let's do it. Remember, the buys do start this week, so make sure you take that into consideration. We got Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh all on the bye. All these teams had pretty good weeks, except the Packers blew that game. What happened to that Packers defense? That was crazy. Dak looks pretty damn good, though. All right, we're going to kick things off this week with San Francisco at the LA Rams. Some breaking news: Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall are both questionable going into this game Thursday night, right? My final score prediction in this spot is Rams 23, San Francisco 17. I think San Francisco and the points, I like that spot there, But I still think the Rams are going to win this game. Brock Purdy just can't stay healthy. He looked okay coming back last week. Didn't look entirely super good, right? I mean, they're still missing a lot of pieces on this offense, right? And without Nick Bosa, I don't expect them to get a pass rush on Matt Stafford. And if you give Matt Stafford a clean pocket with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Kyren Williams out of the backfield, it's going to be a long day, man. So I'm going with the Rams to win 23-17. But I do think the San Francisco 49ers and the plus 6.5 looks pretty good to me. Even though I'm not a spread bettor, I let everyone know I don't really bet the spreads. I'd rather parlay two favorites than bet spreads. There's a few spots here and there where I like to bet the spreads, like last night with the Broncos in that spot versus Cincinnati. That's a good spot to attack the spread. And there is a spread bet I like later in this video. I'll keep you guys up to date on that. Purdy's dealing with the toe, Pearsall with the knee. I mean, Rams all day at home, back-to-back games at home. I like this spot for the LA Rams to come up with a big division Week 5 victory. And remember, there are a bunch of teams on the short week this week because of the doubleheader on Monday night. The Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, and Broncos all on a short week. Next up, Minnesota at Cleveland. But this game is in England, right? Minnesota is staying across the pond. Cleveland has to travel across the pond, right? Right now, the Vikings are 3.5-point favorites, right? Oh, man. Andrew Van Ginkel was when the Vikings don't have him, this defense is just not as good. And it doesn't look like he's going to play in this spot either, right? He's just a general in the middle of this defense that can stop the run, stop the short attacks with passes in the flat, down the seam. He can cover the tight ends. He could do a little bit of everything. And Carson Wentz came back down to earth through 2 interceptions. I mean, he's just not very good. They're hoping J.J. McCarthy can come back to practice, but he's not going to play this week, in my opinion. There have been no updates on what Cleveland is going to do at the quarterback position, right? We got to figure that out. This offensive line for the Vikings is not great either. They gave up 14 QB hits on Carson Wentz in that game versus Pittsburgh, right? So, but Justin Jefferson had a good game, 10 catches, pretty solid overall game for Justin Jefferson, but he can't do it all, right? In my opinion, I think the Vikings still etch out a win. I'm going to go 20-13 Minnesota to win and cover the 3.5 points. This Browns offense is the most inept offense I've seen in the NFL in quite some time. Do we see Dillon Gabriel? We haven't seen any sort of news about Joe Flacco. I think he threw 2 more picks in this past week. He's just not good. He's old. It's not pushing this organization forward by having this old man be the quarterback. I want to see Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders see what these got and see if we could get a little juice. We saw what Jackson Dart was able to do for the Giants in that, huge upset over a 3-0 Chargers team, right? So sometimes interjecting some youth into your organization is a good thing. So I think Minnesota wins barely because the Browns just can't score points, guys. So I'm going to roll with Minnesota 20-13. Next up, we got the Raiders on the road taking on the Colts, 6.5 points. I love the Colts in this spot. I think they win easily and cover the 6.5 points, right? Starting left tackle, Colton Miller suffered a high ankle sprain and hairline fracture in Sunday's loss to the Bears. He's on IR. He's done for the foreseeable future, right? The Raiders' offensive line was already not good. I mean, Gentry had a good game last week, but before that, they struggled to run the ball effectively all year long. Geno is just a, interception machine. 14 of 21, only 117 yards, and he wasn't even sacked. 3 interceptions, man. And the Bears' defense isn't elite by any stretch of the imagination, right? So Geno Smith has really, really struggled to find any identity in this offense. This offensive line is not good. The Raiders probably should have won that game, but it was just 2 bad teams, and you saw it on the field. A lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, just not an overall good football game at all whatsoever. But Gentry had his first real breakout game, 21 carries for 138 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, right? Gentry's a beast, but this offensive line is trash. And I love the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts to win this game 30-17. Daniel Jones did come back down to earth a little bit, right? But I think the Colts defense really battled against a very, very talented LA Rams offense in that 27-20 loss. And if if Adonai Mitchell, doesn't do that stupid throw the ball away for the touchback going into the end zone, the Colts probably win that game, right? The Colts are for real, right? Shane Steichen has this team playing really, really well. And remember, this Rams defense, especially the front 7, very, very talented group, right? Daniel Jones threw 2 picks last week, but in my opinion, it was the 11 penalties that really killed this Colts' chances of winning that game. And then Adonai Mitchell being an absolute dummy. He had a big holding penalty as well in this spot. So I love the Colts in this spot to win this game by blowout. I'm going Indianapolis Colts at home, 30-17, riding the ship after that loss last week, guys. Next up, we got the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints in the biggest breaking news for the Giants, who had a big home victory over an undefeated Chargers team. Neighbors done for the year. That's a bummer, man. Huge bummer. I really want to see what Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors could cook up the remainder of this season, but that's just not in the cards. The Saints have battled all year long. They're not winning games at all, but Spencer Rattler, battles. He's not a super talented guy. They ran the ball well as a team last week, 34 carries for $189, 5.6 yards per carry, right? So this Giants front 7, guys, is extremely talented with Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and Abdul Carter. I mean, it's a great unit, right? And I just think they're going to force some turnovers and win this game. I think this defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And if Jackson Dart does just enough, takes care of the football, makes plays with his legs like he did last week, some design runs, I think they're going to win a pretty close game. I'm going to go 24-17. The Giants get a win on the road. I like Cam Skattebo in this spot to be huge in the passing game. He's a beast running the ball, but he's actually got really good hands. He's an excellent route runner as well. So I want to see him get more and more involved in this offense. I loved him in college. He runs really crisp routes, man, for a kind of stout guy. Very, very impressive. The Saints are 2.5-point favorites, right? So I'll take the Giants to win this game, and I'll take the Giants and the points for sure, guys. Final score, 24-16 Giants. All right, next up, we got an interesting game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Jets. The Jets looked awful in that loss to the Miami Dolphins. Tons of injuries on this defense. Jermaine Johnson, Weston, Cowher, McCary Ball, Quincy Williams, Javaris Brownlee Jr., Michael Carter. I mean, tons of injuries, right? Tons and tons and tons of injuries on this Jets defense. That's not very good, even when they're 100% healthy. And to me, guys, Justin Fields is not a quarterback. He's just like a glorified running back that throws the ball occasionally. I'm not a Justin Fields fan at all whatsoever. And the Jets they fumbled on the 3-yard line. I think Fields threw a pick or a fumble. I forget what it was, like when they were going in to score on Miami. It's just, this Jets team is not very good. But man, how good is Garrett Wilson? That touchdown pass. The best chance the Jets have at winning football games is just having Justin Fields close his eyes and just throw the ball up to Garrett Wilson and hope he comes down with it. Because that's how talented he is. Just throw him the ball every single play. Just throw it up in the end zone, and he's probably going to make more plays than he's not. Super talented guy. Braylon Allen, a running back for the Jets, sprained his MCL. He's probably not going to play this week. Garrett Wilson is just so unreal. But talking about unreal, how about Dak Prescott, guys? Let's clap it up for Dak Prescott, man. I'm wearing my Eagles green, but I know a stud when I see one. Dak Prescott has been incredible this year. Flat out incredible. If this Cowboys team wasn't a complete dumpster fire, Dak might be in the running for MVP. I swear to God. Just watch him play and how he wills his team back into these games. It's extremely impressive, man. He's doing it with a banged up offensive line that's not very good to begin with, a mediocre rushing attack, no CeeDee Lamb last week. I mean, Dak Prescott, man, has really impressed me, dude. He looks really good, man. Really good. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys to win, probably dominate this game. I'm going 27-17. The Cowboys dominate on the road. This Jets football team is not very good at all whatsoever, and their secondary sucks. But I just don't think Justin Fields can consistently take advantage of this Dallas Cowboys bad secondary, right? That Packers-Cowboys game was one of the wildest games I ever seen in my life. But you know what, guys? I got a great idea for overtime. Okay, we do the overtime period, 10 minutes. It's a tie afterwards. Let's go to a shootout. Let's do a shootout. Nobody likes ties. We get the kickers, right? We don't have to worry about injuries. You have the kickers from both teams kick a 55, a 60, and a 65-yard field goal. Whoever makes the most field goals wins the freaking game. And if they tie again, let's boom one from 70 and see what we got, guys. I think that's a great way, an interesting way, so we don't have to end football games in ties because ties are a bummer, guys. Bummer. I'm going Dallas Cowboys get a victory on the road, 27-17. Next up, we got a really interesting game. One of the more interesting games of the week. My Philadelphia Eagles at home taking on the Denver Broncos on a short week. Let's be honest. The Eagles look really good in the first half of that game, but they look like complete trash in the second half. This Eagles offense, Kevin Patullo, thumbs down. The new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley is MIA. I don't know where he is, who he is, what's going on. I've never seen such a rapid transformation of complete dominance on the ground. They only lost Mekhi Becton. He went to the Chargers, and then all of a sudden they can't run the ball at all. Saquon's averaging like less than 3.5 yards per carry. It's embarrassing, right? I don't know if Landon Dickerson's hurt, but his overall stats look horrific this year. This offensive line does not look as good as they did last year. I don't know if it's injuries or what the hell is going on. The Eagles also had 8 penalties for 83 yards. They need to clean that shit up for sure. I don't think Jalen Hurts completed a single pass in the second half. I know Todd Bowles runs a great defense, blitzing. You know, if they don't block that punt and return it for a tutty, they probably lose that game to Baker and Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. That's why I switched my pick over later in the week, right? But the Eagles got a W, they're 4-0, but they've only played like 2 or 3 really good quarters of football through the first 4 weeks, right? So Denver Broncos did a great job defensively holding the Bengals 2 for 11 on third down. Bo Nix balled out 29 for 42, 326, 2 tutties. Dobbins ran the ball effectively, 16 carries for 101 yards. If we see this team show up, they could beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but they're on a short week. They're going on the road, right? So I think the Eagles might etch this one out. I'm going to go with the Birds 23-20 against Bo Nix. And this offense, if you look at it, the numbers look great, but remember, this Bengals defense, probably the worst defense in the NFL. No Shamar Stewart. Trey Hendrickson was in and out of the game with injuries, right? So this Eagles defense is a lot better than what they faced in Cincinnati. In the first few weeks, this offense for the Broncos didn't look great, right? So spread-wise, if you're a spread better, I'm taking Denver and plus 3.5. I think it's going to be a close game. Probably come down to a final possession, guys, here in Philadelphia. Next up, we got a really weird game. Miami Dolphins got their first win of the season last week versus the Jets and Carolina. But man, oh man, that Miami defense, especially in the running game, they look awful. They couldn't stop the run at all. The Jets were running the ball down their throat all game long. And the Jets just made mistakes. More mistakes than the Miami Dolphins made. No Tyreek Hill. That dislocated knee was gross, man. But multiple torn ligaments, including the ACL. He's done for the season, right? So with that, Miami's minus 1.5 point favorites. I'm going with Carolina to win a dirty, gritty, not so awesome football game, 17-16, right? Here's why. I think Carolina is going to run the ball down the Dolphins' throat with Chuba Hubbard and kind of just take control of time of possession, right? Kind of limit them opportunities for Bryce Young, run the ball against a team that cannot stop the run, and their secondary is really bad too, especially the safety spots. The secondary is one of the worst in the NFL, so they can't stop the run either. So I expect Carolina to run the ball down their throat and win this football game. I just like the way they match up. Miami without Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's kind of turned into a possession receiver this season, and he was helping Tua get tons of first downs. That's not going to be available to them this week, so I don't know how they necessarily move the football consistently. Even though Carolina's defense is not very good, we saw that last week. They got the brakes blown off of them by the New England Patriots, right? But the Miami Dolphins defense is not even close to as good as New England's is. So, I mean, when Andy Dalton comes in the game with 8 minutes left, you know it was a shit show. 5 for 14 on third down. Bryce Young was just awful, right? The Patriots defense is pretty damn good, though, so we got to take that with a grain of salt. This is going to be a hard game to watch for NFL fans. It's going to be like putting acid in your eyes while watching a football game. Dolphins on the road taking on Carolina. I'm going with the Panthers to win a very close game, 17-16. But the team that turns the ball over the least will win this football game, guys. Mark my words. Next up, Houston at Baltimore. The Texans are currently 2.5 point favorites. That's because Lamar Jackson is doubtful in this spot, right? So the Baltimore Ravens kind of didn't give a shit about the backup quarterback position. That's going to be a dumpster fire, especially against a really talented Houston Texans defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go, and the Baltimore Ravens have a ton of injuries on defense, man. Travis Jones, Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphreys. I mean, Washington Jr. is on IR. Matabuke, he's done for the year, IR. Isaac, Isaac, the rookie, on IR. Ardarius Washington's out. I mean, Longer Beam, the nickelback, he's on IR. I mean, Ronnie Stanley's also questionable in this spot. I mean, this Ravens team is a mess. I think that mess continues into Week 5. I'm going with the Houston Texans winning a defensive battle 20-13. I just don't think this Ravens offense is going to muster a lot of offense, man. Derrick Henry has been a fumble machine, not super effective. I mean, Houston's front seven is very, very talented. The cornerbacks are really good. I think the Baltimore Ravens really struggle to score points. I think they win this game, the Texans do, 20-13, and cover the 2.5 points, right? Matabuke, the D-tackle, done for the year, Pro Bowler. That's a huge loss. Just too many injuries to overcome, even though they are at home. I like the Houston Texans to get a W on the road here. Tennessee at Arizona. Arizona has extra rest playing on Thursday Night Football. They're 7.5 point favorites going into this spot. The Titans are flat out awful. I feel bad for Cam Ward. If anybody needs a freaking hug, it's Cam Ward, man, because he goes out there, lays it on the line every week with a bunch of bums. A bunch of freaking bums. I feel horrible for him. But he's not playing great either. 10 for 26, 108 yards and an interception last week, 2 for 11 on third down. He's got to be better. The whole team needs to be better, but they can't be better because they're a bunch of bums. The Bum Nation. That's what they should be called. The Tennessee Bum Nation. Because wow, oh wow, they are awful. But Arizona, I mean, yikes. They're not fundamentally sound football team. Kyler and Marvin continue to be not on the same page. He's throwing go routes. He's running out. Marvin Harrison's running go routes and flag routes. He's throwing that into the flat. I mean, it's just awful. I mean, the Cardinals are only going to win by default because this Tennessee Titans team is terrible, right? I expect them to run the ball effectively in this spot, get McBride and Marvin Harrison cooking against a really bad Tennessee Titans football team. I expect a lot of 3-and-outs again for the Tennessee Titans. Got to go on the road. Never easy to play in the NFL on the road. Arizona, I like this spot for them to win and cover the spread. I'm going Arizona Cardinals, get a W, 24-14. There's not a ton to say about this spot, but remember, James Conner is done for the year. The offensive line and the run game haven't been great for Arizona, right? So I don't know. I just find it hard to believe. I don't know if the Titans win a game all year, man. So I'm not betting on the Titans at all this season, especially on the road. Arizona gets it done 24-14. Here's a really interesting game. One of the more fun games to watch this week that has playoff implications down the road. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off a tough loss at home, have to travel across the country to play Seattle, who is getting extra rest, having played on Thursday Night Football, right? They played a really tough game. You know, the first half couldn't have went worse for Tampa Bay, but they came back, almost came back and won that game. Really shut down the Philadelphia Eagles running attack and passing attack in the second half there. But Mike Evans really limits what this offense can do, in my opinion. And Tampa Bay was straight up awful on third down, 3 for 13. If they want to win this game or have a chance to win this game, they got to clean it up, guys. They got to clean it up. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. Emeka Egbuka continues to be a beast. He only had 4 catches, though, but 101 yards and a touchdown. The Seahawks dominated most of the game against Arizona. There was a few bullshit calls that kind of allowed Arizona to get back in that game and almost kind of come back and tie the game up, which is really scary, right? So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Seattle. It's going to be a really, really close game. NFL fans, the spread in this game is 3 points. That means it's pretty much a wash, right? Seattle's 3-point favorites. You pretty much get 3 points when you're a home team. I think this game is going to be really, really close. Probably come down to the fourth quarter. Who has the ball, right? I'm going to go with the home team here. Baker played that really tough game. It was a tough, nasty, gritty game. You know, almost came back, but they didn't. And then they got to play Seattle, who's getting extra rest, more extra time to kind of prepare for this spot, right? I'm going with Seattle 27-24, and that means the spread is a push here, guys. So spread-wise, I wouldn't touch this game at all whatsoever. I think there's going to be some points scored. Baker Mayfield just continues to will his team in the close games, right? I think it's going to be another game where turnovers are everything. Seattle's defense has been pretty opportunistic, right? The defense looks pretty good. They got extra rest. I'm going to lean with Seattle here, 27-24. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions at the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, Lions are minus 10-point favorites. Yo, I'm taking the Lions to blow them out 35-10 and cover the 10 points. The Bengals, you know, are the Cleveland Browns without a good defense, right? So they won 34-10 versus Cleveland in Cleveland. Right? I think it's going to be a very similar game, 35-10. That's why I like this spot. You know, Jared Goff was okay. He took no sacks, 16-27, a buck 68, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But Gibbs really dominated a really good rush defense on the ground. 15 carries, 91 yards, over 6 yards per carry. Amon-Ra St. Brown added 7 catches for 70 yards. And the Bengals are honestly one of the worst teams/organizations I've ever seen. The offensive line is brutal. I don't care who that just goes to show you how good Joe Burrow really is to be this successful with this ass offensive line, a really, really bad defense, right? Bengals also tons of penalties, 11 penalties in this spot. The defense had 0 sacks, only 1 QB hit in that game versus the Broncos, right? I don't think they have a chance in hell to win this game. I'm going with the Detroit Lions to win by blowout, 35-10. Next up, guys, really interesting spot. Washington Commanders at the LA Chargers, who destroyed everyone's parlays last week. The Chargers are -3 favorites, so does Vegas think that Jayden Daniels will not play again? I'm hoping he plays, but we have to check the status later in the week on Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, right? But this offensive line is really, really banged up for the Chargers, right? Rashawn Slater's done for the year. Now Joe Alt is on the fence about playing. I don't know. He's super banged up, had to get carted off the field. I mean, it's not looking good offensive line-wise. And Justin Herbert, we've seen, can't play behind a crap offensive line. He looked pretty terrible, in my opinion, in that game versus the Giants. The Commanders' defense isn't as good and able to put that much pressure on an offensive line as the Giants are, but I'm going with the Commanders. Mariota's looked pretty good. I'm going to go 24-23. The Commanders continue to run the ball effectively, but I just don't think Justin Herbert behind a trash offensive line is going to get it done. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball, set up play action. It's going to be a really close game. This is going to be a game I got to watch the injury report, so make sure you tune into my final picks, guys, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys doing that for me, right? But, man, yeah, I like the Commanders in this spot. It's going to be a close game. I got to check the injuries as we get closer, like I said before. Right now, I'm going to go with the Commanders to win barely. Last possession, Mariota gets it done, 24-23. Chargers are -3, so give me the Commanders and the points. Faux show. All right, now, we got 2 games left on this slate. Next up, division rival game, AFC East showdown, New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 8.5-point favorites, right? I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, guys. The Buffalo Bills defense, as we've seen against not good teams like the Saints, who were in that game up until the end, right? Josh Allen put on a Superman cape and kind of made it a 2-score game late, but the Saints and the Dolphins were both able to move the football consistently against this Bills defense that's not very good. And as we seen last week, this offense is starting to gel a little bit for New England, right? So I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm going to go 30-24 Buffalo Bills, and the New England Patriots cover the spread, 8.5 points. Give me New England and the points. But straight up, I think the Bills and Superman Josh Allen still get it done, right? But man, Pats won 42-12 over Carolina at home. May went 14 of 17, 2 tutties. Defense only allowed 150 yards through the air. They did give up 129 yards on the ground on 28 attempts, though. So maybe this is a James Cook spot for the Buffalo Bills. So if you're in the props, maybe anytime touchdown and the over prop for James Cook, I expect them to run the ball a lot against New England to kind of mitigate that pass rush there. I think it's a close game at the end of the day, 30-24. The Buffalo Bills win it, but I think New England can cover that, 8.5-point spread, guys. And then wrapping up my Week 5 picks with scores is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. An extremely interesting game. The Jacksonville Jaguars lead the NFL in defensive turnovers. They were unbelievable again last week, forcing tons of turnovers for San Francisco. I thought the Jaguars would win that game, and they did. And they continue to be one of the more successful teams on the ground as well. But the Chiefs looked like the actual Chiefs last week. They dominated. They blew the freaking brakes off of the Baltimore Ravens, a hampered Baltimore Ravens team. Pat Mahomes, 25-37, 274 touchdowns. Xavier Worthy really opened up this offense, right? Both these teams coming off of big wins, Jaguars over the 49ers and the Chiefs over the Ravens. Kansas City is 3.5-point favorites right now. I'm going to roll with the Chiefs, 26-24. They got some momentum, and we saw what Xavier Worthy can do for this offense. And the one thing the Jaguars continue to do still is make stupid mistakes, right? Dumb mistakes, penalties in bad spots, on third downs, early downs on offense. So if you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you've got to play fundamentally sound football. I think they're going to make some mistakes, and then Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense are going to be able to capitalize and win a close game. I'm going Kansas City Chiefs 26-24 over the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, guys. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. If you want more NFL content, more picks and bets, Survivor, whatever you want NFL-wise, I'm here to bring it to you guys. Analysis, bets, live streams, shorts, whatever it is. JL Day's here for you guys. You got to subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 27,000 subscribers, 8,000 new subscribers here in September, and the bets continue to crush it week in and week out. We've already turned $200 of our initial deposit into $446. Already doubled up our money, and we're consistently beating the bookies every single week, guys. So make sure you check out those memberships. Thank you again, guys, for all the support you've given me over these last couple of years. It truly means the world to me. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Peace.